Okay, guys, I apologize. My goodness. I lost track of time and my phone actually died on me while I was out at the park. And I am so sorry about that. Let me see if I can invite them back. Okay, for you guys just joining back in, I apologize. I lost track of time and my phone dies really fast when I'm doing live streams. And I did not realize my phone was so low on battery. And so it actually just died on me like randomly right there. So let me get this thing set up. Hopefully they can join us. Okay, there we go. I apologize. That was my fault. I absolutely dropped the ball.
Hey!
Sorry, guys. Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Man, it's just par for the course, I guess. I was so into that interview with you guys that I was out at the park and I did not realize my phone battery had been sucked dry because of the live stream. So I had to relocate to my truck and I got the charger on it. So we're good to go now. Anna Leigh, the last thing everybody heard was that you tilt your paddle when you're hitting the top.
Okay. Whether it's going cross court, middle, or down the line, did you hear that?
Yeah.
No,
And
that
on my back, okay. And on my backhand side, I do the same thing. I almost hit like a backhand roller on my drop sometimes when I'm further back.
Yeah, she actually drops with a two-handed backhand, which
Oh,
is interesting.
that's unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got top spin
yeah,
as well.
so she actually rolls a two-handed backhand drop, which I would love to learn that shot.
Me too. Me
I
too.
know.
I just feel like I have more control and power over where it's going and how hard it's
It's
going.
just crazy to me that she has that much feel, that she can take two hands and roll it with just a light top spin cross court. It's just crazy that she has that much feel that she can do that, because when I try to do it, I can't get the right speed, and she just naturally can kind of drop it in there. So it's pretty cool.
I thought her skill with that came from mama, but apparently it's just natural.
No, that's a natural thing. I don't drop with that much top-spin. I do forehand cross, like inside out, but I don't. My drops are either just kind of flat or with a little underspin usually.
Yeah.
Which is, I think I just like the drive because I'm aggressive. I just don't feel like I'm overly aggressive with the drop, and I like feeling like I'm aggressive, I like feeling
and kind
like
of in control, yeah.
In control, exactly. So, but Anna Leigh, she kind of mixes it up a little bit, but more than I do, and which is what I really like, because she can kind of roll that third shot in. It allows me to get to the net, like you were kind of saying, take advantage of the Ernie, but
Absolutely.
just in general, getting to the net and looking for the poach,
That's another good point, yeah.
So.
Anna
Absolutely.
Leigh, with your two-handed backhand, the one you roll for the third shot, do you try to put pace on it to like put a lot of pressure on your opponent, or do you just try to drop it in soft and like when you're not driving? I'm talking about the one you roll.
So, wait, what was that?
Your third shot, the two-handed roll.
It's more like a roll. Yeah, it's more like a roll with a little light top spin that is either cross court or down the line. But when I'm closer to that, I don't really hit that shot. I hit the slice backhand more like a dink, like if I'm in like no man's land or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's only when I'm kind of like pushed back and I have to, like, I don't feel like I can get it there or make it effective enough for me to get in. So I feel like it's just a more comfortable shot for me to hit that than have to try to make this perfect slice.
For sure.
That's crazy to me how that's comfortable.
I know,
Two-handed
right?
roller drop just is more comfortable to me.
To a lot of people, that's like a foreign thing. Like, what the heck is that?
I'm coming up with new shots.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if people start mimicking y'all's style. I will say though, it would be hard to duplicate what you guys do as a team, because you touched on it earlier. It's the mother-daughter sixth sense thing, the connection. I just don't think that's easy to replicate. I think I could jump on the court with somebody and we could say, all right, we're going to do just like mom and daughter, on the court with the Waters. And then we would look nothing like that, because you guys just have that sense of where you're going to be, I don't know if y'all noticed, Jay Gordon's on this live stream, and we talked about Jay last night.
We
Jay's
did.
Awesome. He's one of the first people I think that you guys
What did he
really
Jay Gordon.
Oh, he was watching. He
Yeah, that's what he
commented,
just said.
so,
Yeah, he's still commenting. So what he said was, we spent a good bit of time the last 10 minutes or so talking about drops, and he's like, enough about the drops. Let's talk about how they rip it and then put the ball away. So transitioning into that, my question about that is, will you guys actually invite volley exchanges at the kitchen? And what I mean is, will you actually bait people into hitting the ball hard so that you guys can get into those exchanges?
Yeah, I mean, we would much rather be, well, I would. I like those fast bang bang rallies rather than, dinking 25 times over the net, because that's just my game. But yeah, I think we're usually for sure the first team to usually pull the trigger at the kitchen, and which, like you said, is kind of inviting that faster play. But here again, it's just, I don't really know if it's a bait, like a conscious bait, or it's just, this is our game and this is what we're going to do. But yeah, we're definitely looking for any ball at the kitchen that we can be aggressive off of.
Yeah, and actually watching you guys, I've actually seen you guys turn defense into offense better than any other team that I've ever watched. And what I mean is, when somebody brings pace at you guys, and let's say you're like mid-court, so you're not at the kitchen, you're not at the baseline, you're kind of stuck in that little middle area.
Right.
People will blast the ball at y'all, and both of you can almost just like come up and whip a two-handed volley back at them so fast that they're actually then the defensive team. They almost get the deer in the headlight look, like, what the heck just happened? Because I was going to drive it at them, and all of a sudden they're hitting it back harder at me. So that's got to be a conscious thing for you guys, or maybe it's just instinctual. I don't know.
I think it's a little of both. I think we both have pretty quick hands. So, and I think that's one of our
strengths.
Definitely one of our strengths and assets. And like I said, we're looking to be aggressive. So,
if somebody's aggressive at us,
I think
take the opportunity.
Well, and
like
I think and I think sometimes you're put in a position where you can either reset it or you can go for it. And sometimes resetting is super duper hard. Some of those volleys and you're trying to go for a reset, I mean, that requires a lot of skill and a lot of feel. And so sometimes, like, I'm just going to go for it and rip it back, Yeah. I feel like I have a higher percentage, almost, like you said, instead of trying to be defensive and try to just reset the point, I'm just gonna be offensive and try to flip it around.
Yeah.
And I think we both kind of play that way. And actually, today we actually were talking about just that thing, about how just difficult that reset is, and we're probably just gonna rip it back. Rip it back.
Hashtag rip it.
Hashtag rip it.
Just hashtag rip it. And here's the thing. I knew I liked you guys from the very beginning, because that is the style that I like to play as well. Like, I don't wait around to see who's going to mess up a dink. I try not to get into a 50-point dink rally.
Yeah.
Look for every window of opportunity to push pace at somebody.
Rip it good.
Rip it good. I like
Rip
that
it good.
One. I know. Exactly. That's our game too. And that's not everybody's game. I mean, some people are so good at the touch reset, and the drops, and the reset and the dinking and the, consistency. And I'm not here to tell those people to change their game, at all. It's just, that's just our game. I do think, just like we like to drive and be aggressive, but yet we had to learn the dink and we had to learn the third shot drop, because you need to have all of that. Oh, that's so cool. That's pretty cool. Paddle Tech needs to create a new paddle called the Rip It. I love that.
We are giving out some golden nuggets here tonight on this live stream.
I know.
Tech better be taking notes here.
But, I feel like people that are really good at the drops and the dinks and everything should develop a drive. Now, I'm not saying that they should use the drive on every single third shot or, be offensive off the kitchen. But the more shots that a player has, the more that they can pull out of their pocket and try to kind of mix it up a little bit and get your opponent sort of guessing what you're going to do. If you drop it every single time, then, you know, your opponent knows exactly what you're going to do. So absolutely. I just think develop as many shots as possible, and the better player you'll be.
But see, you guys kind of defy the logic of pickleball, and I mean that in a very positive way, in a very encouraging way, because when I got into the sport 2 years ago, everybody coaching and teaching at that time did not even, it was like a bad word to talk about driving the third. Like, you almost felt like you should wash your mouth out with soap if you mentioned something about driving a third shot, you know? But now you guys have defied logic, because number one, you drive better than anybody I've seen as a team together. But number two is like, okay, I don't know if we should bring this back up. Maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe we should wash our mouth out with soap tonight if we say this. But y'all said last night you play 90% of the time in pickleball and drill about 10%. Now, that's probably a bad word in pickleball.
I know.
But
I know.
That defies logic. Now, is that for everybody? No, because not everybody has the skill set that you guys have. So some people like myself and others have a lot of potential in a sport, but we have to drill and practice so we can develop some of the stuff because we don't come from tennis.
So here's the one thing that I'll say about kind of the caveat to the 90%, 10%. So because we have limited practice time, that's why we're playing most of the time, because I'm started teaching a lot. I'm also taking her to 2 other sports. We're in the car. We're at various practices. She homeschools, so she's got to do her school. We travel on the weekends a lot of time. So we don't get that much time to actually just drill or go out and play. So when we get that time on the court, we want to play.
Like
we want to play.
Usually our drilling is like a warm-up to play.
Yeah, but so we'll drill for 10 minutes before we play. But what I was going to say is, you know, a lot of times people in rec play, you know, you can get really competitive in rec play, and everybody kind of wants to win. And
I want to beat X and Y.
I want to beat X and Y and Y and Z. But
not A and B or C or D.
So a lot of times you don't really work on the things during rec play that maybe you should, because you want to try to win. So I really like, and when I go down and I play with Steve and Stefan and Hector and those guys, you know, I really kind of force myself to do things that maybe are uncomfortable for me. Like, I always play the backhand side with her, or the ad side with her. So when I go down there, I force myself, well, I'm going to play the deuce side for a while. You know, like I want to try to work on this side. And, you know, I'm going to make myself dink more than I usually would. And I'm going to drop most of the balls in this game. So even though I'm playing, I'm trying to work on the things that I need to work on, because I'm not really getting out and doing those drills. So I'm kind of trying to throw it all into one. Of course, I always want to beat Steve Kennedy. So
who doesn't?
When I'm playing against Steve Kennedy, I might not be working on things I should.
I wouldn't either. I would absolutely try to blister Steve Kennedy every chance you get.
That's usually my goal is I'm just going to see how many times I can hit Steve Kennedy. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, the question last night was, have either of you guys hit Steve with the overhead?
An overhead. I know. Who asked that question? I didn't answer. I don't know that I've ever hit him with an overhead. I have hit him before. I don't know if it was with an overhead.
I love it.
Have you ever had a serious injury?
Oh gosh, knock on wood. No. Anna Leigh has from her growing so fast. You can say it.
Osgood-Schlatters.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's called Osgood-Schlatters. It's very common. But I don't know if you've ever seen people, like, they have kind of like it looks like a bone, like a bump on their kneecap.
Yeah. It's
actually, that's what she has. And it's just from growing fast and your growth plates doing funky things. And so she developed that a couple of years ago. And we mainly noticed it in soccer because of all the pounding and the running. So she had to wear like a brace, and we had to cut back just a little bit.
And I pulled I've hurt my shoulder.
Tendonitis in her shoulder
and then
from tennis.
I pulled my calf muscle, and then like 2 weeks ago I pulled my quad. So
So we've had injuries,
but not serious.
we haven't broken any bones. Nothing that like has sat her out or me out for 6 months or 8 months or a year or anything like that.
Nothing that's gonna put you out for a while.
Yeah, just the kind of the typical sports related overuse type injuries. So
definitely. I know another question, because while we're talking about this kind of injuries and different things like that, this just popped into my head. There are certain pro athletes in other sports, or even in pickleball, but like one that comes to mind for me is Rafael Nadal. He has a very uniqueness about him, where he does this, puts this, does this with his nose, picks his wedge.
Obsessive compulsive, yeah.
Right. So a lot of top athletes, they have the OCD and kind of the very much, I don't know, weird, quirky things like that. Do either one of you guys have anything that you do either pre-serve, pre-game? Okay, Anna Leigh, talk to us about that. What is that?
Well, even when somebody's like hitting a serve and like it's like going over the, I'm like either fixing my visor, tightening my hair, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
yeah, she tightens her ponytail.
And
if you watch
visor, whatever, like tighten ponytail.
If you watch, she tightens her ponytail probably between every single point. And she does it in tennis also.
Is that just something you do like subconsciously even? You don't even realize you're doing it?
Do you know you're doing it?
Well, kind of. Sometimes like I'll get nervous and all of a sudden I'm just like
you start fixing it.
Like the person's serving it, like one more. Like, oh.
You're like, one second. I need a minute here.
Yeah, she definitely does that. I don't have any like superstitions or kind of OCD things that I do.
Okay. I think that's a very interesting thing to watch about people, because Rafael Nadal is the most, I think, distinctive person that I can think of in a pro sport that does it. But a lot of baseball players do it.
Oh yeah.
A lot of funky stuff before they go to bat. They fix their batting gloves and tap their bat on their cleats 3 times. So that's really interesting. And now that you bring that up, Anna Leigh, I think I have seen you do that before. But not realizing that you do that kind of as like a nervous tick or something, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I like that. I think the next question that people I'm trying to think of things that people want to know about you guys and kind of would be interested in hearing about. What is the next? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I saw one question from last night we didn't get to answer, was if Anna Leigh goes to school or is homeschooled, and if she's able to keep up with her studies. And do you want to answer that one?
Sure.
Take it away.
So I went to school from pre-K to 2nd grade, and then we moved to Florida. And then that's when we started homeschooling, because we didn't know anything about the area or what schools were good or anything like that. So we started homeschooling. And it gave me more time to do sports and experience things I wouldn't be able to do with school. And my grandmother, or Gaga, teaches me school every day. And if I have something important, like let's say we go to a trip and it's like on the West Coast, we can take that week off or that long weekend off and just catch up or get ahead before or after we go.
Absolutely.
And she's actually, so she should be in 6th grade right now, and she's actually about halfway through 7th grade, right? Quarter of the way through 7th grade. So she's actually a little bit ahead. What we do is we work through the summer so that, just like she said, we can take those trips and kind of be extra flexible.
And this year at Nationals, I had off from school from Halloween to
Christmas?
January 5th.
Yeah. So we, instead of taking a summer, we kind of take time off around the holidays because there's so much going on. So it's like that Thanksgiving, Christmas is usually when we try to take, try to take the bulk of the time off. And that really seems to work well because it's easier almost to work through the summer. So.
Yeah, definitely. And Leigh, you mentioned earlier, this was on the pre-battery dying live stream. You mentioned that you practice law. Do you still currently practice law? And if so, do you have a flexible schedule though? Is that,
My schedule was, I'm still with my firm. I'm not currently working on a project right this minute.
Okay.
I'm part-time. I've been with the same firm since law school. It's a large national firm. And I was actually one of their first, I guess, mothers or women to work from home. And I started working from home with them almost 2 years out of law school. Not because I had Anna Leigh, but because I moved to a different state. And they were like, well, we'd love for you to stay on. So can you just work from home? And I got so fortunate because I kind of found a little niche in the legal field where I focused on privilege law, which is during the discovery phase of a trial. And so I would, a group of us would manage all of the documents of a case. We do a lot of really large public cases that are class action. So there's millions of documents sometimes. And so we would, go through all everything's like database related. So you can do it from home. And so purely just kind of doing privilege law. And it's just a perfect little niche for me. I could do it. What I found myself doing was like getting up at 4 a.m. and busting out my work so that by the time Anna Leigh got up and was ready to go, I was done. And
play pickleball.
I could play pickleball and take her to her 5 other sports that she was doing that day. So, but yeah, I'm not currently on a project right now, but I am still with the firm. So
very cool. I like it. Somebody named Stephen Presson. He said, "Good evening. I don't want to be greedy, but I have a couple questions." First question is, do you guys know him?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So Steve's our good friend. He lives here with us. His son and Anna Leigh play soccer together. His son is a really good soccer player, and he actually was our realtor as well. So we moved into a new house about 6 months ago and are living through a renovation, and we're almost done. We're almost there.
Go ahead with your question, Steve.
Yeah, so, well, real quick before we ask him, how does Steve know to be on the live stream? Does he play pickleball too?
He doesn't. He does not play pickleball, but he does play tennis. So he must have seen it on one of our Facebook. I bet he saw it on my Facebook page.
Okay. So I'm really curious now what his questions are since he doesn't.
I know, me too. I also saw about 30 minutes ago, I saw Anna Leigh's soccer coach.
What role did Supreme Soccer play? Excellent footwork.
Okay, so this is what he's talking about. So both of our kids train with outstanding soccer coach, Tony Stevens. And he's like the technique guru of soccer. And both of our kids have really excelled in soccer, and we both say that Tony had a lot to do with that because Tony believes, you got to learn the technique, right? I mean, you can't have bad technique. You have to be able to rely on your technique, which to me goes for any sport. Right. You don't want your technique to ever break down. And so he's saying, what role did Supreme Soccer, which is Coach Tony Stevens, what he calls his camp, Supreme Soccer. So, but we've said from the beginning that we think soccer has helped tennis and pickleball in so many ways. And one's definitely the footwork, the endurance, the movement. So yeah, we can definitely give Supreme Soccer a shout out in helping Anna Leigh's pickleball for sure.
I love it. I love it. Well, I knew when I met you guys, that you guys either played. Okay, what do we got?
Sorry.
Did AL only look at pickleball after she got tired of bullying all the boys on the soccer field?
That's a great question, Steven.
So I played on a boys team when I first got here, and we moved to Delray because there wasn't a girls team at Delray. So I played with the boys for a year and a half.
For 2 years, I think, or maybe more.
2 years. Okay. No, it was 2 years.
You're still playing. You're still playing on boys team.
Are there a lot of disgruntled boy soccer players when she beats them up on the?
No, they called her. So it's funny because when she played with the boys, she played defense, and they called her the beast in the back.
The beast in the back.
Yeah. So, and it was funny because girls are usually taller than boys when they're younger. And so Anna Leigh, when she played for the boys like last year and the year before, she was actually usually one of the tallest ones on the field. And so she was an asset back there because she's bigger than the boys, and she just like her pickleball, she's a very aggressive soccer player. So a very aggressive soccer player. So she was not afraid at all, to go in and contact with the boys. And so, she was kind of the enforcer.
And then the last question is, how come Dad never gets any TV time? Come here, Dad. Come on, get in the camera.
Yeah, tell Steven to come on real quick.
All right. He's going to come say hello. There he is. There he is. That was a quick cameo.
He didn't spend much time. But no, he's a great guy too. I got a chance to talk with him at some of the tournaments, and he's very, very, very supportive of not only his daughter, but also his wife playing pickleball. Him and the whole family really gets behind you guys.
I know, it's awesome. That's one thing I love about pickleball is
our pickleball family.
Is our pickleball family. I mean, the people that you look forward to seeing at every tournament, but also it's something that we do with our entire family. I mean, my dad plays, so he loves to come to the tournaments. Steven plays a little bit of rec, but he loves nothing more than he looks forward to the tournaments. And my mom is like our biggest fan. And so it's something like that we're traveling together as a big family. And I can't really think we do that in soccer as well, but it's just a sport that I think brings families together. And a good example of that is this morning, it was super cool at one of the clubs that I teach at. I taught, it was a private lesson, but who showed up was a mother, a father, their like teenage daughter, and the grandmother. And that was the lesson. And I was like, what other sport would this ever happen? Probably none, Yeah. And then next thing I knew, the sister and her husband came. And so it was just a big family affair. And that's the great thing about pickleball is it makes everybody kind of put their phones down and, hey, let's go out and play pickleball. So Absolutely. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, when I got into the sport, I stumbled on pickleball 2 years ago, and I've always loved people, and I've always loved sports and competition, and I think pickleball naturally lends itself to very like relational type competitive sports. Like you're so close to the opponent, and there's so much banter back and forth. I've never seen a sport where the other team, you can be in a very intense match, and the other team hits a really good shot, and you compliment that shot. I've not really seen that much in other sports. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you see it time and time again in
you
pickleball.
Do. It's true.
And I think that's what is so addicting about the sport. It's not just the competition side, but it's the family that you meet, that you go to eat with everybody afterwards. You might battle it out with somebody in a gold medal match and go out and eat dinner with them, 30 minutes later and have a great time cutting up and laughing.
Yeah. And we even said that in our finals match with Simone and Corinne, and, it was so intense, and obviously, everybody's wanting to win, but like everybody was a great shot. Yeah. Great, really good shot. Or just, we had a lot of that going on.
And then the next day it was fine. We could talk to them. We talked to them the next day, and everything was.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So, yeah.
I think that's great, and real quick, I'm just noticing these comments coming in. Cody Matthew Klein said, basically he said he has 3 kids that all love pickleball, and he can't help but believe that there's other kids that look up to Anna Leigh. And Anna Leigh, to you, I want to say, I think that's so powerful for him to say that, because even at 12 years old, you're a top performer in pickleball, and I think that you're going to have people look up to you, adults and other adolescents, and you do such a magnificent job just being yourself, just being natural with it. So don't ever change that, because
absolutely.
I think that you are a role model, whether you believe it or not, and you do such a great job of just being kind and just a nice person in pickleball. Yeah, look, that thing, you guys are technical difficulties.
Sorry, we lost the microphone there, the
Party
headphones.
foul.
Oh, there you go. We just did it again.
Okay.
No, but you're right. I'm super proud of, we talked about that earlier, but super proud of her. And, I'm constantly reminding her of that, that she is a role model and can be a role model, and how important it is to kind of respect that position, and to be kind and to realize that that you are blessed to have that talent that you have, and you know, pay it forward. And I'm really proud of her for being that way, and I'm very hopeful that she will always be that way, and I think she will be.
I do too. Yeah, I just have that weird feeling that she's gonna be that way for a long, long time. But, Anna Leigh, I got a question. If you had the option to pick tennis, soccer, or pickleball as a career full time to do it for a living, which of those three would you naturally gravitate towards doing for?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, you don't.
Can she change her answer tomorrow?
Oh no! Oh yeah. Well, right now, off the cuff, which one do you think it would be?
Okay, so it's not tennis right now.
Okay.
Maybe it will be in 5 years, but not right now.
Okay.
Soccer, pickleball.
If you could do it full, like if you had to choose one or the other, would it be soccer or pickleball?
I don't think I can answer
It's
that
a tough
question.
one, isn't it? That's a tough one.
I'll have to think about it. I'll tell you at the U.S. Open when I see you there.
All right.
All right, there's your big question at the U.S. Open.
There we go. I'm going to hold you to that.
All right.
No, the reason I said, can she change it tomorrow, is because we ask her that question. Well, not like if you could be a professional, but what's your favorite sport? We ask her that all the time. Yeah. And she gets a different answer every single time. Yeah. And it just seems to be like, what is happening with that sport at that given time? You know what I mean? Like, Absolutely. Is there something exciting in pickleball? Oh, that's my favorite. Is there something exciting with tennis? Oh, that's my favorite. Is there something exciting in soccer? So that's what I said. Ask her tomorrow and see if she gives the same answer. Yeah.
So Webster says, does AL have many friends her age that like to play pickleball also? Yes. One of my mixed partners is named William Sobeck, and he's 14, and I'm playing with him at the U.S. Open in mixed 5.0. And I'm also playing with Rachel Elliott in age 19 plus at the U.S. Open. Mm-hmm. And there's also lots of other kids I could name that play
And you've
pickleball.
Played with Nikki Golowicz last year at the U.S. Open. Yep. But as far as like your everyday friends around here, they don't even know really what it is, but we're spreading the knowledge. Like all of her girls on the soccer team are like, you know, we've
heard of it. We played at gym class.
Yeah, or we went on YouTube and watched you play, you know, and they think it's really cool that.
And they said one of them said they told their dad about pickleball, and he was like, "That's not a real sport. What are you?"
Yeah, or she plays pickleball. Isn't that just like for old people? You know, it's like one of those. And so,
geriatric tennis, yeah.
Exactly. So we're trying to kind of do our part locally and try to get kids involved somehow. You know,
or at least know about it.
Or at least understand what it is and try to get them excited about it. Maybe that they would want to go out and hit around with their parents or with Anna Leigh or another kid. So I'm seeing at the club that I'm teaching at, I'm seeing a lot of kids like going out, and of course they don't know what they're doing or they don't know the rules, but they're at least getting out on the court and hitting the ball around and having a lot of fun with it, which is a good way to just get kids interested in playing, you know?
Absolutely.
So
I was at the 2 dedicated course that we had yesterday, and there's a girl playing, and her friend from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, she goes to the University of Alabama. She was coming, they're on spring break, so she came back home. She was coming to see her friend that was playing pickleball, and she was sitting there on the bleachers, and I, you know, being the outgoing, talkative person that I am, I'm like, hey, what's your name? She told me her name was Kate. I said, well, come out here and play pickleball with us. And she said, no, this is what she said. No, I'm not very good at sports that take hand-eye coordination. Uh-huh. I said, well, what did you play growing up? And she said she was like a cheerleader and a dancer. And I said, well, I think that you will like this whether you played sports or not growing up, you know.
Right.
So anyway, I left it alone. She didn't play initially, but at the end of the day, I got her out there and started hitting with her. And I got to tell you, number one, she was better than she thought she would be at it.
Yeah.
And number two, she was smiling and laughing and having a good time.
I mean, that's the thing. Everybody that tries it ends up loving it. I've never had anybody like try it and say that game stinks. That game is no fun. I mean, everybody just instantly, like you said, like starts laughing and smiling, and So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the only person that would say that would be like Scrooge or something. And, but
So this says, tell your friends to watch the Pickleball Anthem rap song on YouTube. They'll want to play instantly. Well,
I'll have to look it up.
Anna Leigh has a rapping talent.
uh-oh.
This leads perfectly into Anna Leigh's rapping talent.
So this is new news to me. Like, what? I mean, does she write her own?
So we went to Hamilton to play.
Well, wait, back up.
Okay.
Anna Leigh loves Broadway plays. Well, we all do. Our whole family just really into Broadway.
Okay.
So when she was actually born in Pennsylvania, and we moved to North Carolina, but we went back to Pennsylvania a lot to visit my parents. And so we would go to Broadway shows like all the time. We'd always go to New York. So now we're like even further from New York. My parents are down here. So we don't get to Broadway, but we've got our theaters down here where the traveling shows come through. So Hamilton, I don't know if you know your Broadway shows or not, but Hamilton is like
Hold on, can I say something?
Yeah.
History is my favorite subject in school. So this play really helped me like learn history because I can like recite every word from the play.
Very cool.
So Hamilton was like the first Broadway show to kind of be like a rap Broadway type show.
Yeah.
So do you want to give can you give a short 20 second?
Yeah, I'll give a short. Count to 20 seconds and stop me.
So here is Anna Leigh Waters debuting the rap of Hamilton. Okay, here we go.
And a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by Providence and Poverty grew to be a hero and a scholar, the $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter by 14. They placed him in charge of a trading charter, and every day while slaves were being slaughtered and got it away across the waves, he struggled and kept his guard. Side, he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter. Then a hurricane came and devastation made the man. Saw his future dripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his name. How the word got around. They said this kid is insane. Took a book collection just to send it to the pain. Like, get your education, don't forget from which they came. And the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man? And it goes Alexander Hamilton.
Wow.
I mean, right?
That is very talented.
Okay, so you heard it first. You heard it
my
first, Scott Golden.
I feel honored to be the first one to hear your rapping talent. If it doesn't work out with soccer, tennis, pickleball, or whatever other sport, you can definitely have a career like in the
She's gonna rap.
in the rap. Hey, we're gonna call you the rapping golden girl from the interview last time.
The golden rapper.
The golden rapper, and I want to be your agent. That was awesome. Now I gotta tell you, that's the first live interview that I've ever done where somebody showed their absolute raw talent rapping. I love it. I love it.
We told you we're mysterious, right?
You guys are. I mean,
We have many hidden talents.
Hey, we should just do a live interview every night for the next week and see how much comes out about you guys on these live streams. We'll know everything about you guys soon.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
You guys are great. I gotta tell you, I've done a lot of these live interviews and just a lot of stuff like this, and you guys are just so
The rapping
natural.
ripper.
The rapping ripper.
The rapping ripper. Hey, that's my good friend Brenda Pulliam and her husband Joe. They are so much fun. They're out of Atlanta, and she just coined your nickname, the rapping
The
ripper.
rapping ripper.
I like it. That's so good.
We're gonna
That's gonna
hashtag
stick.
rapping ripper.
That's gonna stick. That's
Yep.
gonna stick. That's a good one.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, guys. If Webby can come to the U.S. Open, I don't know if he's coming, but if he does, we're gonna do a live stream, impromptu rap session with Webby and Anna Leigh, and I'm gonna introduce you as the rapping ripper.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I love it, guys. This is the kind of stuff that I think people really enjoy. It's getting to know the real Anna Leigh.
I could do that all night.
That's
My mom was
great.
like, yesterday before the interview, she was like, Anna Leigh, stop it. Stop it.
I mean,
You're
literally.
driving me nuts. Stop it. I'm getting sick of it. Stop it.
Well, yeah,
Because it doesn't stop there, Scott. The whole show is like rapping.
It would all be
and
rapping.
she knows like the whole thing, so she just goes around the house and it doesn't end. It's like 3 hours of rapping. Rapping Hamilton.
It was probably torture because you had 4 hours of just static.
Exactly. That's what it was. The whole time that we're trying to figure out the technical difficulties, she's rapping Hamilton.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's why today I was like, well, maybe if there's some segue into it, you can go ahead and rap. And then that popped up about rapping, and I was like, here we go. It was meant to be.
Yeah,
it was
Webby,
meant to be.
Thank you for that little introduction for it.
Exactly.
Word.
That's great. any other hidden talents while we're on the subject? That
No.
we know about?
No. That's it.
None of y'all juggle or, you know.
No, that's it.
I love it.
That's it.
I have another question because most of the time when I hang out with pickleball people, we will play hours and hours and hours of pickleball, whether it be at a tournament or rec play or whatever. We'll go to dinner afterwards as a big group, and somehow the conversation will turn back to pickleball. Is like what's y'all's family dinners like? Is the conversation always lead back to pickleball somehow?
Yeah, somehow. It seems like pickleball.
One word comes up, or we're talking about another sport and it leads into that, or
yeah, and maybe what it is too is like we're talking about something and it makes us think about a pickleball person. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, that's, you know, remember so and so at that tournament told us about
or did
this or did this, and then then it leads to like another pickleball conversation.
Brandon will have to show you his hidden talent.
Brandon.
Brandon
Hudson. Brandon is a master speed walker.
Wait, hold on. I mean, I've never in my life heard of a master speed walker.
Yes, he is a master speed walker, and he will be, I'm volunteering him to demonstrate that live at the US Open just for you.
I will make sure that we get that on film. That is
it will be worth it.
You know, like the bucket icing where like you have to do it and then you like
the challenge.
Now it'll be like give your hidden secrets, and it'll be like your hidden talents.
Yeah, this is the hidden secret challenge. We're giving it all away right here
at
live.
the US Open, we're gonna get on one of the courts.
Oh, that was Brandon.
I know.
Brandon. Oh, so Brandon. You're welcome, Brandon.
Little shout out to Brandon. Brandon's awesome. Him and his sister
are
very fun.
They're very talented. Very talented.
Yeah. And a quick plug for them. They have a business, a relatively new business they started that they do graphic design and different things like that.
Yeah, and they're doing a lot in pickleball with that too, as far as for companies and paddles, and yeah, they're very, very talented. In fact, he's so busy, but we've asked him to do, I don't know if you've ever seen his paintings.
They're amazing.
Unbelievable. Both of them, like fine art quality paintings. And so we asked him for our house. We were like, Brandon, we would love an original Brandon for our house someday. So he's very busy, but we want one. We're willing to wait.
Well, it just went on public record, so he's now bound to that. He has to do it now.
Yeah, there you go. But it just shows you, like, as these names pop up, and there's Tara Kennedy.
Yeah. Tara.
You know, how many friends you've made in the sport, and how, like, we look back 2 years and none of these people were in our lives, and now, like, we have another whole nother pickleball. I know, and we just so fortunate.
Speaking of great pickleball people, Steve Rose threw me a surprise birthday party for my 12th birthday.
Yeah.
And Brandon and Taylor came, and a lot of other people came there, and they surprised me. Mom said we were going to a what is it called?
An estate sale. A furniture estate sale. And we got there, and she was like,
I was like, for about
totally
like 5
shocked.
seconds,
but it's just another example, like, that our pickleball community got together to throw her a surprise 12th birthday party.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Anna Leigh, when you were shocked, was your next move to just bust out into a rap song? Is that
Actually, it was the first time I think I've ever seen her be totally, like, silent. Like, she was so shocked, she almost didn't know what to do or what to say.
It's on camera, so
yeah.
You can go watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all could post that video later if we're being completely
It's
shocked.
It's on my Facebook. Okay. It's on there.
So if you guys want to watch that, go to Leigh Waters' Facebook.
Yeah.
and go see that. That's good stuff. I think that you guys are two of the most fun people in our sport, just not only to watch, play, and compete, but you guys are just a joy to talk to. I've sat here. This is when I think that I meet two people that are special, because time has just gotten away from us right now. And we have been talking, and it feels like 10 minutes. I mean,
what time is it?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know what time it is, but I can tell you this second live stream's already gone 45 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So we've been probably close to 2 hours then, maybe.
2 hours.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah, hour and a half.
You guys may have way more important things to be doing right now, but for me, I love this. This is what I love to do. It's not even, for me, this stuff is not like, oh, I gotta do a live stream interview. I'm like excited to get you guys on the live stream so that people can get to know you guys. Like, I'm serious. It's fun for the average pickleball player that doesn't necessarily get to be on the court with you guys or be around you guys very much. Maybe they live in California.
Well, exactly. And we haven't really gotten to do a whole lot in the West Coast or meet a lot of West Coast people. And so we met a few at Nationals and a few at TOC. But yeah, like you said, we don't know the vast majority of the pickleball world yet. And so this is a good way to sort of let them get to know us, and then hopefully we can get to know them in person
At a pickleball tournament.
Absolutely. And I don't want to put words in y'all's mouth, but I know for me personally, my golden boy name has kind of grown a little bit with me. And yeah, and I got a side story on that in a second about Steve Kennedy with that. But what I mean is, when I go places now that I've never been, like, people will come up and say, oh, it's the golden boy, or they want to take a picture.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's such a cool thing, because I want to always be approachable to people. And I never want somebody to feel like they can't come up and ask to take a picture or just to talk to me. And I think you guys have that same vibe. Like, doing this live feed, I feel like I push pause.
Technical difficulties.
Hey, now it's not
Take
me
50.
now. This
Take
is on
50.
You guys.
Or 100. Take 100.
Technical difficulties.
No, but I'm with you. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, now you can really hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
Literally now.
Now, literally.
Yeah, but I just think it's cool for people to around the country and around the world to get to see y'all's personality come out, the fun time that you guys have just together. I can honestly say that I've never seen a mother and a daughter have so much like fun just kind of hanging out with each other. And
I know. I hope that's a good thing. Like, I hope I'm not like traumatizing her in some way. But we are
too much.
But we're super close. We do everything together. I said it last night. If she didn't play pickleball, there'd be no way I could travel like I do, because I don't want to miss a soccer game. I don't want to miss a tennis practice. I don't want to miss a breakfast. I mean, I just don't want to be apart from her. So I feel so blessed that we can travel around and play sports together and spend all this time together in this awesome sport. So
I love it, guys. I love it. And y'all have only been around, for people that don't know, they've only been around pickleball for about 1.5 years, maybe coming up on 2 years.
Oh, Karen.
Yeah, I saw Karen just wrote that. That's really nice of her to say that. You guys must know a lot of these people locally.
Yeah, we do. This is our group. See you at Granger's. We just ate there, Karen.
They literally just ate there.
That's so funny. Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, no.
I interrupted you.
Yeah. And I know we kind of touched on this at the Texas Open a little. I know you don't want to harp on this too much, but I do want people to hear this side of the question that I'm going to ask here. Leigh, you're sponsored with PaddleTech, correct?
Correct.
And Anna Leigh wears PaddleTech. She is unofficially sponsored. And explain why that is briefly. You don't have to go into a ton of detail.
Yeah. So we did a lot of kind of background research, talking to the NCAA a little bit, because she plays tennis and soccer, and because she was showing, potential in pickleball, she started getting the offers for sponsorships or whatever in pickleball. And so we didn't really know how to handle it, because what if she wants to play tennis or soccer down the road in college? Was that going to affect her eligibility? And the answer is that nobody really knows. So we're just being super careful, continuing to do research. And I think the NCAA has an issue with pickleball and tennis being so similar that in their eyes, they could potentially decide that if she took money in pickleball, for instance, that she was a professional tennis player in their eyes because of, they say they look at equipment, they look at the playing field, they look at practices, if the way you practice for the sport is similar. And so even though, like, to you and me, we know, well, yeah, they're similar, but they're totally different. You know, they're not the same sport at all. The NCAA could turn around and say, well, we want to make an example. This is a perfect example of what we're trying to say. And they could just make an example out of her if they wanted to. So I think if she were to play soccer in college, there would be no problem because the sports are totally different. But, it's just one of those things where we've been super careful ever since she's been playing is, not to be sponsored. And we've actually turned down any prize money that she's ever won.
Just to be on the safe side?
Just to be on the safe side. And maybe we'll change our mind, tomorrow. I don't know. It's something that we're always talking about. It's something that we're always revisiting. It's something we're always trying to get more information from college compliance folks. And we might be blowing the whole thing a little bit out of proportion for all I know, like being too safe, because there's lots of rules that talk about you can take expenses, as long as you don't exceed your expenses. But we're just afraid to do anything, because we just don't know what the outcome might be. Anyway, that's the scoop on that.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, it's probably better to err on the side of caution because you don't know all the black and white of it. It's kind of a gray area.
Right.
So you don't want to come back later and find out that you did something that would violate NCAA rules. So I know I asked prior to the interview if I could ask that, and the reason I think is because people might just assume that she's sponsored officially with Paddletech. And she probably would be if it weren't for those things.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird because in other sports, you can be sponsored and get equipment and stuff like that. It's mainly about the money or
accepting prize money or something like
that. Exactly. But we've just kind of avoided it totally until now, up until now.
Good deal.
That's it.
And for, real quick, just a crazy random side note. If anybody's joining and they wonder why my screen's dark and theirs is not, it's because he's in
a hole.
Yeah, I'm in my cave. I was out at the local park where I play pickleball when I'm home, and my phone died on the first round of the interview, which is just par for the course with the technical difficulties we've all had in this journey here. But
exactly.
I moved to my truck and plugged my phone in, so that's. If you're wondering why I can't brighten my screen, it's because I'm literally in my truck and it just doesn't get that bright in here. So I just wanted people to know that it's not like I'm trying to have it dark. So, okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Or I know this has been like a 2-day thing and we have really gone through a lot of information for people. But I just feel like people are so intrigued in the mysteriousness of you guys.
I saw one question yesterday, and I'll just answer it real quick, just because I don't really want questions to go unanswered. Somebody asked why Anna Leigh and I chose the paddles that we like. I use the Element, and Anna Leigh uses the. What do you use?
TS5.
Yeah, the Bantam TS5.
Yeah, and my only answer is, and I think it. I don't know this, but I find it more with people that play tennis that they're more peculiar about their paddle. I don't know. Maybe everybody's peculiar about their paddle. But for me, it's just about feel, like what feels good. And something about the Element, it just suits my game. It's got some good pop, which is what I like. And it also gives me a little bit of more grip room to throw that second hand on there for the two hands. some of the other paddles have shorter handles, and there's like no way for me to get that second hand on there. It's a little bit thinner than a lot of the newer paddles from all the companies. A lot of the newer paddles are a little bit thicker, and the Element is the more traditional kind of size. And for me, it just feels good. So that I don't know how else I can answer that. It's probably not the answer that they wanted, but for me, it's just about feel.
Yeah. And
Is that kind of you too?
Yeah,
is that how
same
you feel with
me.
it?
Well, Anna Leigh,
I've tried every single paddle that
yeah,
Tech has.
yeah, and it's just your
And it's just
favorite.
the one
But I
that
think this is why. Anna Leigh's paddle
is 7.1 and 7.2.
7.1 and 7.2. So she likes a really light paddle. She gets a ton of power out of the paddle. But I think that's the only paddle that they maybe make that you can get that light.
That light, yeah.
And so I think for her, that's why she loves that paddle so much.
Yeah, if you can generate your own power like that with a light paddle, that means your hands are going to be quicker at the net. It means that you are going to be not.
You can just get it around faster.
Yes, and then also just thinking, I don't know if this is accurate, but it feels like a lighter paddle would be easier on your joints, like your shoulder and elbow. You don't have to worry about the head lugging a 8.5 ounce paddle.
Yeah, and I think your paddle is it a little bit smaller, the head?
Maybe.
I think it is.
Which when she was a kid, I think when she was smaller, because last year, let's face it, she was like a lot smaller than she is now. Easier to control.
Yeah.
So to have sort of that more compact light paddle was a perfect fit for her. And I think she just loves it so much that she doesn't want to switch.
Yeah, and I've heard that the TS5 is actually like the little sister paddle to Kyle Yates's band.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried Kyle's paddle and it was like too much power. Everything was like flying everywhere and like.
I bet you were ripping it and it was hitting the backstop back there. There's just so much power in that paddle.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in because I saw that question, but I think that's it. I think
good deal.
Hopefully everybody enjoyed the part deuce.
Yeah, part deuce. Yeah, and I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you coming back because
you look better in the dark.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure who Deke is, but that was a pretty funny comment. I'm not. That was pretty witty right there. I'm used to that coming from Glenn Lucy or Steve Kennedy. But,
I know. That is so funny.
Yeah, that is funny. You know what? And this is just me thinking the way I am. I actually like when people pick at me a little bit like that because it means I feel comfortable and
exactly.
I'm telling you, I never want somebody to feel like they can't be like joke with me and feel that's just the way I am. Like I really think that that's my personality. I kind of invite that kind of banter like that, and
exactly.
I've kind of always been that way. But you guys, like I was going back to saying, I appreciate you guys coming back for the second round because I almost hesitated to even ask to get you guys back on because of how like crazy yesterday was.
Right.
And I almost thought I don't like rejection, so I was like, I don't want them to say no.
No, well, I might have said no if I hadn't heard what it sounded like, and it was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So I was like, we need to go back on and get a clear one out there, and so I'm glad we had the chance, and we appreciate everybody watching and supporting us, and we look forward to meeting all of our new pickleball friends in the next year, and yeah. Oh, and also for anybody that's listening whose clubs might be interested in clinics, we are doing a ton of travel in the next 8 months, and so definitely contact me if your club is interested in some clinics or lessons along the way. So that'd be great.
I'm so glad you said that again the second round because I was going to bring that up for you, but you went ahead and nailed it. Yeah, she's doing a lot of clinics, and will Anna Leigh be with you most of the time?
Anna Leigh's with me all the time, and she is such a good helper. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
I'm the best ball picker upper there.
She is. No, but it goes beyond that because a lot of times, I'll have like a team of ladies or men will come and they'll want a lesson as a team. And so I can bring her. Now we have 4, and we can do drills with 4. We can end it with playing a few games and talk about strategy. So she has been like a godsend to me with teaching, and it's good for her too.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome. She's like a super. She'll be with me. She goes with me wherever I go, so she'll be with me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you guys want to reach out and wow, I just went completely dark there. If you guys want to reach out to Leigh Waters and Anna Leigh, go ahead and message her on her
Rapping ball
Facebook
girl.
Messenger.
Yes.
And
yes.
yeah, the rapping ball girl, I love it. And reach out to her, and I promise you, if she can make it to your area for a clinic, I bet she will make every effort to do that. I think you guys, as the pickleball community, we can all learn a lot from them and their style of play. I think it's really good to not be just cookie cutter. I think sometimes getting a different perspective, is a really refreshing and good thing. And you guys can teach people a lot of technique and stuff that they may not get from a different coach. And so that's awesome. If anybody else has any last questions, go ahead and throw it out there. If not, we're going to go ahead and jump off this live stream so they can go eat and do whatever they need to do. But again, guys, I really do appreciate your time. You guys have been just absolutely so much fun to be on the live stream with and talk to.
We've had a lot of fun. We've had Anna. I'll tell one last little secret before we sign off, and that's yesterday. Anna Leigh was a little nervous before the live feed. She was like, because neither one of us were, at least I am. I'm not new to social media, but I'm new to kind of putting myself out there on social media, if that makes any sense. And so we've never really done like a whole web feed cam. I didn't even know how to do it. Scott had to walk me through it.
Yeah.
And 4 hours of it yesterday, really. No.
Oh, goodness.
No, but Anna Leigh was a little bit nervous. And today when I told her, I was like, we're going to do a redo. I was like, are you okay with that? She said, oh, I'm actually kind of excited. Like I really enjoyed it. So,
Good.
So thanks for having us. We had a lot of fun, and we'll see you all soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. Anna Leigh, anything else you want to throw in there before we get off?
Her favorite food is ice cream.
Ice
it's
cream?
not.
And
chocolate
cookies.
lava cake with vanilla ice cream.
There you go. That's the last comment. Chocolate lava cake with ice cream.
We're gonna leave everybody with that. All right, guys. Have a great
night.
And,
Bye.
thanks for everything y'all do.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.